So Stu, how does it feel for you when you see a new slender tree fern that you haven't found before?
Oh, it's always exciting. I always get a bit of a buzz when I find another one. I'm just like, okay, so there's more.
Yeah.
So they're critically endangered and estimated to be about 1,000. And so the more we find, it means, okay, they've got a better chance of surviving.
So is this slender tree fern actually healthy?
Yeah, this one's a really young one. So it's only probably 3 or 4 metres tall, and they need to be 25 years old before they're actually fertile to produce spores, and they'll be 7 metres tall. So this one's only a teenager, and there's a lot of years before this one's going to be considered safe and reproducing.
You just wobbled that slender tree fern. Can you wobble it again? That really freaks me out.
They're very fragile. They're very thin, so they're in real danger of being destroyed by wind, other trees falling, and when we have clearing right to the edge of rainforests like this, it increases the wind, and so they're more susceptible to wind damage. So the slender tree ferns we were looking at in the logging coop yesterday, they don't have such a great future. The logging over there is going to clear to within about 20 metres of them and replant with pines. Pines are bad news for these areas because they will change the hydrology, drying it out, increase the risk of fires, and also there will be a lot of pest animals too. Deer browsing is a real threat to them for the young ones coming through. So pines are pretty bad news for the future of these guys.
Well, that sounds pretty hopeless.
So some people think it's hopeless, but I don't think so. I think if our decision makers make the right decisions, these rainforests that have been here for 60 million years will continue to be here for future generations. And I think that if we were to put in better buffer zones and to put in native species that can not only support the habitat here but also our native species, I think that they'd have a much brighter future.
What do you mean by native species?
Well, I think the forestry that used to be here was mountain ash and blue gum, both of which occurred naturally in this area and which all of our native species have lived with for millions of years. So I think if planting pines is important, but not in high conservation value areas. We need native species, and that is the gold standard for river health and for our critically endangered slenders. So we've been counting them here, and so we've counted about 130 on our property, and our neighbours are counting them on their property. We're then looking at the local reserves and other creeks in the local area to build up a really good picture of how many there are and what the threats they face, and to try and support them, because they're beautiful and we can't afford to lose any more species.
So you're going to stop counting them at some point?
I don't think so. It's become quite a bit of an obsession. But seriously, recording what is now thought to be the largest population of slender tree ferns in Australia is the first step to protecting them. You can't protect them if you don't know they are there. And it's so great to see our community come out and support our slender treasures.